जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि ओम। श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय। सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरों वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगण रघुनाथां श्रीशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। From Mrikanda, Markandeya Muni was born, and from Prana, the sage Vedeshira, whose son was Ushna Shukracharya, also known as Kavi. Thus, Kavi also belonged to the descendants of Bhrigu dynasty. My dear Vidura, the population of the universe was thus increased by the descendants of these sages and the daughters of Kardama. Anyone who hears the descriptions of this dynasty with faith will be relieved from all sinful reactions. Another of Manu's daughter, known as Prasuti, married the son of Brahma named Daksha. Daksha begot 16 very beautiful daughters with lotus-like eyes in his wife Prasuti. Of these 16 daughters, 13 were given in marriage to Dharma, and one daughter was given to Agni. One of the remaining 2 daughters was given in charity to the Pitraloka, where she resides very amicably, and the other was given to Lord Shiva, who is deliverer of sinful persons from material entanglement. The names of the 13 daughters of Daksha who were given to Dharma are Shraddha, Maitri, Daya, Shanti, Tushti, Pushti, Kriya, Unnati, Buddhi, Medha, Titiksha, Hari and Murti. These 13 daughters produced the following sons. Shraddha gave birth to Subha, Maitri produced Prasad, Daya gave birth to Abhay, Shanti gave birth to Shuka, Tushti gave birth to Muda, Pushti gave birth to Smaya, Kriya gave birth to Yoga, Unnati gave birth to Darpa, Buddhi gave birth to Artha, Medha gave birth to Smriti, Titiksha gave birth to Kshema, and Hari gave birth to Prasham. Murti, a reservoir of all respectable qualities, gave birth to Sri Naranarayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the occasion of the appearance of Sri Naranarayan, the entire world was full of joy. Everyone's mind became tranquil, and thus in all directions the air, the rivers, and the mountains became pleasant. Yayorjanmay ado vishvam abhayandat shunivartitam manamsi kakubho vivata pashude saririto draya. So we'll read 50. I have to do 56 today, right? Or 54 to 55. In the heavenly planets, bands began to play, and they showered flowers from the sky. They pacified sages chanting Vedic prayers. The denizens of heaven, known as the Gandharvas and Kinnars, sang the beautiful damsels of the heavenly planet danced, and in this way, at the time of appearance of Narnaran, all signs of good fortune were visible. Just at that time, great demigods like Brahma also offered their respectful prayers. The demigods said, 56. Deva uvacha yo mayaya virachitam nija kherupa bhedam iva tat prati shanyaya etana dharma shodane rishi murti nodaya Prudaschakra Purushaya Nama Parashami Deva Uvacha Yo Maya Yavaricham Nijantam Maninditam Kerupa Badam Eva Tat Pratisha Kshanaya Etan Dharma Sadane Rishi Murti Nodaya Pradushakara Purushya Nama Parashami Deva Uvacha Yo Mayaya Virachitam Nijotmanindanam Kerupa Vedam Iva Tatprati Shannaya Etena Dharma Sadane Rishi Murtin Nodaya Pradashukara Purashasya Namami Parashasmai Deva, the demigods, Ucha said, Ya, who, Mayaya, by the external energy, Virachitam, was created, Nijaya, by his own, Atmani, being situated in him, Edam, this, K, in the sky, Rupa Bhedam, bunches of clouds, Eva, as if, Tat, of himself, Pratik Shannayaya, for manifesting, Etena, with this, Dharma Sadane, in the house of Dharma, Rishi Murtaya, with the form of a sage, Adya, today, Prata Dushchakara appeared, Purushasya, onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Namha, respectful obeisances, Parashmai, the Supreme. The demigod said, Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Transcendental Personality of Godhead, who created as his external energy the cosmic manifestation, which is situated in him as the air and the clouds are being situated in space, who has now appeared in the form of Narnarayan Rishi in the house of Dharma. The universal form of the Lord is the cosmic manifestation, which is an exhibition of the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In space, there are innumerable varieties of planets and also the air. And in the air, there are variously colored clouds, and sometimes we see airplanes running from one place to another. Thus, the entire cosmic manifestation is full of variety. But actually, the variety is a manifestation of the external energy of the Supreme Lord, and the energy is situated in him. Now the Lord himself, after manifesting his energy, appeared within the creation of his energy, which is simultaneously one with and different from himself. And therefore the demigods offered their respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who manifests himself in such varieties. There are some philosophers called non-dualists who, because of their impersonal conception, think that varieties are false. In this verse, it is specifically stated, "Yo mayaya virachitam." Yo mayaya virachitam. This indicates that the varieties are a manifestation of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, because the energy is non-different from the Godhead, the varieties are also factual. The material varieties may be temporary, but they are not false. They are a reflection of the spiritual varieties. Here, the words pratikshnaya, there are varieties, announces the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as Nar Narayan Rishi and was the origin of all varieties of material nature. प्रविष्टकर्णरन्ध्रेण स्वानाभावसुरोरुहं धुनोति शमलं कृष्ण शालिल्यस्य यथा शरत्. So this is a very nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, which means that Krishna enters our heart through the holes of our ears. Pravishta karna randhrena swanam bhavasuroram dhunoti shamalam Krishna shalilya sayatha sharat. And when he enters our heart and cleans our heart from all sorts of anarthas. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the way through which Krishna enters into our ears in the age of Kali. So I was listening to Amrendra Prabhu. When I was long time back, I was listening to Amrendra Prabhu's series on Kalia Daman Leela, and before ending the class, it was, I guess, a 3-day, 3-part series. So before ending the class, where Krishna was just about to jump in the water, Amrendra Prabhu said that we'll discuss Krishna's fight with Kalia the next day, because we don't want Krishna to be wrapped and coiled around in Kalia's around Kalia's body for a lot of for more than 3 hours, for a lot of time. So he said that we'll discuss it tomorrow, so that we're quickly able to cover this and get done with Krishna fighting with Kalia. So that was actually so deep in his he was so deep in his perception and his rendition of Srimad Bhagavatam, that when he was giving the Bhagavatam class, he was understanding that Krishna is performing the activity, the pastime right now. So similarly, today we see that Nar Narayan Rishi are appearing. So it's not something which happened thousands of years back. It is actually happening today. So technically we're celebrating the birthday, the appearance day of Nar Narayan Rishi today in the temple. And we're so fortunate that we don't even have to go to Badrika Ashram. Lord Nar Narayan Rishi are appearing, they're manifesting today himself, not in India but in Sydney, right in front of us. As Radha Gopinath, he is always manifesting with his beautiful form, but also as Nar Narayan Rishi, teaching us the method of meditation, the importance of tapa. Even Rishabh Dev to his son says, Tapo Divyam Putrayena Satyam. So he's manifesting here today to teach us the importance of tapa. So the Lord, Prabhupada says in his translation, in his purport, that the Lord is experiencing, is actually, Krishna is also the Lord of variety. There's one name of Krishna is Rasraj, and spiritual world is full of variety. So when the Lord has to experience or witness, or rather experience the mood of being an elder brother, he manifests as Lord Ram. And when he has to experience the rasa, the mood of a younger brother, he manifests as Lakshman. But there is a different mood altogether when there are twins. So the Lord manifests as twin brothers, and when he wants to experience the rasa of twins, he manifests as Narnarayan Rishi. So we can't say that Krishna can only become the elder brother, or he can only become the younger brother. We've got twin brothers also in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Krishna experiences, and Krishna is rather the supreme personality of Godhead. That means he's the Lord of all sorts of pleasures, all sorts of rasas. He experiences and he gives all sorts of mellows to his devotees, and this is something which 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 makes him the supreme, which actually makes him the supreme personality of Godhead, in the sense people can't say that this is something which is missing in Krishna. There's nothing missing in Krishna. We were discussing that how I was thinking that when I heard a lecture that Krishna has very beautiful soft curly hair, and he's always 16 years of age. So I was thinking that this is a sort of incompleteness in Krishna, because Krishna can never age, or Krishna can never have white hair on him, and this is like an incompleteness, because if he has black hair, he also should have white hair. And how we were discussing that the Lord has the Srivatsa sign, and the white hair like hole is the is actually their white hair on the Lord's chest in a circular motion. So obviously the white hair in the Lord's body does not represent old age, but that's transcendental. But it's just to reiterate this point that the Lord is the master, and the Lord is the um, he's the source of all sorts of varieties and all sorts of pleasures. So today we'll discuss the advent and the cause of the advent of Narnarayan Rishi. So there was a demon named Dumbad Dumbad Bhava, who performed austerities for a lot of years and appeased Lord Suryadev. And when he appeased Suryadev, he desired for a boon. First, he desired to be immortal, but obviously, he said that Lord Surya said that because I myself am not immortal, I cannot give you immortality, so you should ask for some other boon. So actually, this is a very creative boon. But so Dambad Bhav asked that I want a boon where I want 1,000 kavachas, and the person who should fight me should perform austerities for 1,000 years, and then fight me for 1,000 years, and then one kavacha would break. And when that kavacha would break, the person will die. And the other person, and there are thousands such kavachas that the person has to break to kill me. Such a creative boon. More creative than Ravana's boon or Kumbhakarna's boon. It's very creative. So anyway, so he asks for this boon, and Surya grants it. So now, thinking that he's inconquerable and he's immortal, he starts creating nuisance in the material world. Now the Lord, as he promised, yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. So the Lord incarnated as the son of Dharma, and came as and Murti, and came as Nar Narayan Rishi. Now it's actually just like how the Lord is one, but but simultaneously he's two, in his form of Sri Radha and Krishna, and then he's also one as Radha and Krishna are combined as one, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord is manifests into twins, Nar and Narayan, and he performs, and Nara performs austerities for 1,000 years, and Narayan goes to Dambudbhav who's now also named as Sahasra Kavach. So he goes to Sahasra Kavach and he says, "I want to fight you." So he said that you know the condition. You should do austerities for 1,000 years. So, yes, my brother is doing it. Actually, I heard Bhakti Charu Maharaj's lecture yesterday, and whatever I'm saying is from his lecture. So so he so Narayan goes, he fights with him for 1,000 years, and then he, externally speaking, he leaves his body, and one kavacha breaks, and then Nar comes, he revives him with his mantras and his tapobal. He revives Narayan and fights with Dambudbhava for 1,000 years, and Narayan does austerities. This way, 999 kavachas were broken, and when just one kavacha was left, Sahasra Kavach ran. He escaped and he went to Surya. And when he went to Surya, Narayan chased him, and Narayan went to Surya and said that release him because he's a demoniac person. I have to kill him. Surya says that he has come to and taken my shelter, and he's my devotee. I must protect him. So Narayan curses him that you will soon be born as a Sut Putra, and this demon whom you're trying to protect will merge in that form of yours. So in Dwapar Yuga, when Karna is born, it's actually Lord Surya. We know that he's Surya's son, but he's Lord Surya and he's Dambudbhava combined. So that's why we see the split personality disorder in Karan's nature. He's so generous, but at the same time he's so demoniac. So the generous side is the the demigod, godly side of him, but the siding with Duryodhan and all the demoniac deeds he would do is actually the Dambudbhava in him. So, and that's why he's born with a natural armor, a kavach. The 999 kavachas were broken, but one kavacha was left. So now Karn is born. We all know the story how he was raised by Radha and Adirat, and then when he grows up, now when it's time for the Mahabharata war to begin, Indra gets perplexed because the the person who will break the kavacha will actually die, according to this curse. So that means if Arjuna and Krishna are to fight with Karna, if Arjuna, because Narayan has already, it was Narayan who chased. Now it's the turn of Nar to kill Dambudbhav. So he thought that if Nar kills, if Nar, as who's come as Arjun now, if he kills Sahasra Kavach, who's now Karna, he'll actually die, because when the Kavacha breaks, the person who has broken the Kavacha has to die. So he goes as a Brahmana, he goes to Karna, he begs in arms for that Kavacha. So when Arjuna kills Karna, nothing happens. So we all know how then Arjuna kills Karan, and then that's how the demon Dambudbhav is delivered. So Narnar, this is basically the story of the advent of Narnarayan Rishi, and we see that all the devas, siddhas, gandharvas, yakshas, kinnaras, everyone is so happy and is celebrating the advent of Narnarayan. That this is something common we see in Srimad Bhagavatam. Wherever there's Lord appearing, there is celebration. Whether it's in chapters ahead, we'll see when the Lord appears in the sacrifice in the sacrificial arena of Daksha to accept his obligations, or whether it is Krishna entering Dwarka city. There's always celebration for Lord's advent. We celebrate every year. Nityanand Trayodasi, Kaur Purnima, Janmashtami, Snan Yatra. Actually, Nityanand Trayodasi is like the ribbon cutting ceremony of the entire line of festivals. He actually begins the festival. He's Guru Tattva, so he's actually opening the gates to all the festivities. So wherever the Lord appears, there is celebration, there is happiness, because Lord is Anand Ghan. He's the source, and he's like a cloud of happiness and a cloud of pleasure. And that pleasure is not pleasure of this material world, which is momentary. It is something which is permanent, Shashvatam. So the Lord manifests, and all the demigods. Even we see that Krishna, when he incarnated, when he manifested in the womb of Devaki, demigods offered their prayers to the wombs of Devaki, to the womb of Devaki, because they knew that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is appearing. So wherever the Lord comes, manifests, his his devotees are always glorifying and appreciating him. And then there's this verse in Brahma Samhita, the last verse. The verse is Shriya Kanta Kanta Parma Purusha Kalpadravado Druma Bhumis Chintamani Ganamayi Toyam Amritam Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanam Api Vamshi Priyasakhi Chidananda Jyoti Paramapi Tad Ashvadayam Api Cha Sa Yatra Shabdhi Swarati Surabhyascha Sumahan निमेषाद्यक्को वा विरजति नहि यतापि समय भजे श्वेतद्वीपं तम् अहम् इह गोलोकम् इति यं विदन्तस्ते शन्तक्षिति विरलचरत कतिपये. I worship the transcendental seat known as Shwetadeepa, where as loving consorts the Lakshmi in their unalloyed spiritual essence practice the amorous service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as their only lover, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is the purpose gem, all water is nectar, every word is a song, every gate is a dance, the flute is the favorite attendant, effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme entities are all enjoyable and tasty. Where numerous milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away, even for the space of half a moment. That realm is known as Goloka only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. This verse is the last verse of Brahma Samhita. It actually smashes all the arguments posed by Mayavadis. And also, when His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was actually quoting this verse, and he was talking about, he was saying how in Vrindavan every day is a festival, and simply if Krishna's shawl is sworn away by the wind, Brajvasis are having a festival. That's how exuberant, and that's how happy Brajvasis are. So they make a festival. If Krishna's cloth moves, they do a festival. And when I was listening to this lecture, I was thinking, ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो गया है. This is too much to actually comprehend. This is exaggeration. And yesterday, when I was dressing my deities, Radha Madhav, if there's a very nice series of lectures which Andhra Prabhu has given on deity dressing. So in that, Andhra Prabhu is actually teaching everyone how Radharani's veil has to fly in the air. So there's like a specific way in a circular backward motion where Andhra Prabhu is very beautifully actually putting Radharani's veil and how it flies in the air, coming like a circular motion. So I was trying to do that, and I was trying this for a very long time. But yesterday I actually saw the video how Prabhuji was doing. I was on the New Year's Eve. That's what I was doing. I was looking at the video when I was traveling, how Andhra Prabhu does it. And next day I was actually trying to do it, and surprisingly I was able to do it. I was so happy. The whole day I was so whenever I would just cross through my room, I would see the altar, I would see the deities, and I would be so happy. Even when I'm cooking, I was mission achieved. I was so happy. And then I realized when Maharaj actually he was telling this in his lecture that just when Krishna's veil moves, they create a festival. I was saying if a fallen soul like me is so happy that I'm able to put Radharani's veil in that way, I can imagine how Vrajvasis would be celebrating and would be so exuberant when they would be celebrating when Krishna's shawl just is just sworn away by air. And this is something which what to speak of when the Supreme Lord has himself manifested at the house of Dharma. How happy would the parents be, and how much exuberancy and how much celebration would the demigods and Gandharvas would do. It's not that they're doing out of obligations. You know, sometimes we see, even in the movies, we see, when a king is entering the kingdom, everyone is saying the king of the kings and the uh, Maharathi, Sahasrarathi, and all those titles are given to the king is coming. But it is not always possible that they're actually doing it from their heart. They're just doing it because they don't want to be headed by the king, or they don't want to bring the king's wrath on themselves. But when Nar Narayan Rishi appeared, Indradi Vyakulam Loke Mridanti Yuge Yuge, Krishna appears to help and to give peace to the disturbed mind of Indra, and he manifests to give pleasure to the entire creation. That's what Prabhupada was telling in his lecture, that the Lord is coming there to actually give happiness and to help help in his own creation. And the other thing which Prabhupada is actually highlighting in this purport is that the Mayavadis think that this world is false, but that actually is neglecting the position of the Lord, because whatever the Lord creates, how can that be false? We create something that might be temporary. We might have some faults in us because there are four defects in the human civilization. The tendency to commit mistakes is one of them. So whatever we do, it might be false. But Krishna, if God is perfect, then whatever he does is also perfect, and then it can't be false. Although if the Lord wants, it might be temporary. That's what the Vaishnava ideology says, that the material world is not false. It is true, but it is temporary. It is short lived. Whereas Mayavadi say Jagat Mithya, everything is false. That is also a very important point to notice. So when Krishna comes to the material world, there is always celebration, and this is what we see in this verse, and this is the form of Narayan Rishi. They eternally do austerities in Badrikashram. A point would be that what is the Supreme Lord meditating on? We see Lord Shiva is always meditating, but we see that Lord Shiva meditates on Sankarsana. His Ishtadeva is Sankarsana, and he also meditates on the beautiful form of Lord Ram. Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tatpalyam Rama Nama Varanani. So when he meditates on the beautiful form of Lord Ram, and once it happened that Sati, his first wife, she came to to Lord Shiva and said that, whom are you meditating on? You don't give me time. You're always in meditation. So who is actually taking your time? So Lord Shiva said that I meditate on the beautiful form of Lord Ram. And Lord Shiva's and Sati says that, who is this Ram? I wanna see what the pastimes are, how he looks, and everything. So Lord Shiva shows Sati where the place where Lord Ram is doing his pastimes. Lord Ram's pastimes are eternal. So he takes Lord Shiva where Lord Ram is doing his pastimes, and Sati is seeing how Lord Ram is pining and he's feeling separation for his wife Sita. And he's asking the trees, he's asking the plants, he's asking the shrubs, he's asking the animals, the clouds, everyone, if they've seen Sita, and Sati thinks that how such a person be God, and she thinks that my husband is very naive. He's Bholenath. He's very naive, and he's very he doesn't know what he's doing. So he how can this person be God? So my husband is unnecessarily wasting his time meditating on this person, thinking him to be God. He might not be God. How? So she was perplexed in this way. So she goes and she decides that she'll test Lord Ram. So she goes, she manifests, she does her makeup and everything. She appears as Sita in front of Ram, and she says, Swami, I'm here. And when Lord Ram looks at Sita, Devi, Sati, Lord Ram offers her his obeisances and asks her, where is Lord Shiva? Where is your husband? And Sati, who is now disguised as Sita, was a bit confused. She was actually startled that me being Maya Devi, I torment and I dilute all the jivas in the material world, and this person is not being diluted. Maybe there is some rectification needed in my makeup. She goes again. She looks herself in the mirror. She dresses herself exactly like Sita. Goes again in front of Lord Ram and says, "My Lord, I'm here." And Lord Ram offers his obeisances and says, "Oh Devi Durga, have you seen my Sita somewhere?" And then she realizes that, "Oh, this is my Lord. I'm Maha Maya. I'm his Maya. I'm Lord Vishnu's Maya, and this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ram, and he's doing his pastimes." And then when she goes back to Lord Shiva offers his obeisances onto Devi Sati, and she is taken aback. She's asking she asks her husband, "Why are you offering your obeisances to me, my lord?" So he said that you have taken the form of my mother. You have taken the form of the person whom I revered as my mother. I can never see you again as my wife. So because even momentarily you have taken the form of Sita, I can never see you as Sati again. So you're like my mother. And that's actually one of the reasons why we'll actually read in chapters ahead why Sati had to demolish and annihilate her body and reappear as Parvati to reunite with Lord Shiva. So Lord, so this actually teaches a very valuable lesson that we being jivas, we should not think ourselves to be over smart, and we should not try and test the Supreme Lord. I do that sometimes, and whenever I've done that, I've really experienced what a fool I was. I've made a very beautiful fool out of myself. This happens. This story reminds me of another Puranic story where Narad Muni once Narad Muni was deep in meditation. This actually comes in Ramayana. So Narad Muni was meditating, and Indra, being the insecure demigod, he thinks that Narad Muni, if he achieves the benediction, he will ask for my kingdom, and if he asks for my kingdom, where will I go? So he asks Kamdev to go and trouble and test Narad Muni and make him and distract Narad Muni. So Kamdev goes with his arrows. He's trying to distract Narad Muni, but Narad Muni's meditation on Lord Vishnu is so strong that he's not disturbed. And Kamdev loses and he goes back. And when Narad Muni gets to know that actually Kamdev came to test to test and distract his meditation, he gets a bit of a tinge of pride in himself, and he goes to Kailash and he tells Lord Shiva that my meditation, my renunciation is such that Kamdev himself came with all the damsels of Swarga, and everyone they did the best they could, but no one could actually distract me. So Lord, he was saying that by Lord's, externally he was saying by Krishna's mercy I was able to do it, but in his mind he was thinking, look at the power of my meditation. The subtle ego is so strong. So, um, Lord Shiva, being Vaishnavanam Yatha Shampu, realizes this. And because Narad Muni is his brother, uh, he tells Narad Muni that, you've told me this in confidence, but don't tell this to Lord Vishnu, because if you don't go to Vaikuntha and tell this to Lord Vishnu. So Narad Muni in his heart thinks that, because this man couldn't do it, he doesn't want me to do it either, and because I've done it, he doesn't want me to go and tell the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in front of Lord Shiva, he says, yes, 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 I won't do it. I won't. Why would I tell? It's nothing to boast about. But as soon as he goes out of the boundaries of Kailash, he goes to Vaikuntha and tells Lord Vishnu that, I was not succumbed to my Kamdeva's arrows, and I was able to conquer lust. I was able to conquer the god of the Cupid, the god of lust. So Lord Vishnu glorifies and appreciates Narad Muni and says, such a renouncing. This is whom I call my devotee, what I call as a devotee. Such a renunciant that even Kamdev couldn't distract him. I'm so proud of you, Narad. And he's glorifying Narad Muni, and he's fanning Narad Muni's ego. And after greeting and appreciating and getting all the appreciation from Lord Vishnu, he goes from Vaikuntha. When he goes from Vaikuntha, he sees on his way he sees a beautiful kingdom, as splendid as Vaikuntha, and he goes in that kingdom and he meets the king over there. And when he's meeting the king over there, the king is offering all his reverence and all his obeisances onto Narad Muni's feet. And Narad Muni is even more famous now because everyone knows that he conquered the lord of the Cupid. So Narad Muni's ego is getting fanned even more. So everyone is, the king is glorifying him, and all that respect and everything is happening. And then the king says that, oh Narad Muni, the most wise and the most intelligent one, can you help me with the fix I am in? He says that I'm in a problem. I have a young daughter who needs to get married, and can you find a suitable groom for her? So Narad Muni says, yeah, of course. I'll show your get your daughter. Let me bless her. So when the daughter comes, she was so beautiful. Narad Muni was thinking in his mind, actually, who could be more fit to marry her than me? But he said, what you should do is you should have a Swayamvar arranged for this daughter. She should choose her own groom. So have a Swayamvar arranged, and invite all the kings and all the sages and everyone you want to this Swayamvar. So Narad goes back to Vaikuntha and asks Lord Vishnu, for a boon. He says, my lord, I've never asked you for anything, but now I think I've been a brahmachari for a very long time, and it's time for me to get settled in life. So maybe I should think of getting married. What do you think? The Lord says, yes, Narad, you've rendered so much service onto me for such a long time. Maybe try getting into Grahastha ashram and serve me now. So Narad Muni says that, in this entire creation, the most beautiful form is of you, O Lord Hari. So can I have a form which resembles you, or can I have your form, Sri Hari? So Lord Narayan says, yeah, sure, and he blesses him. And Narad Muni, having full confidence on Lord Hari, he doesn't even see a need to actually see himself in the mirror. He just straight away goes to the Swayamvar, and all actually not even confident, overconfident that, I've got the most beautiful form in the entire creation. Who other than me will she actually choose? So he stands in the queue where all the kings are there in the Swayamvar, and when the daughter of that king is with a garland in her hand, she's going, she is looking at all the kings, and then Narad Muni is standing there, She looks at Narad Muni and goes ahead. And then Narad Muni thinks, is she blind or what? Can't she see? I am Narayan. I'm the most beautiful. I look like Hari. He goes again. He goes from back. He goes again in the queue, and again she's seeing all the kings, and she sees Narad again. Sees Narad and goes ahead. And then and then suddenly she sees Lord Vishnu comes in his Garuda, and he comes, and the daughter of that king puts garland in the neck of Lord Vishnu, and both of them sitting on Garuda go back to Vaikuntha. And when Narad Muni sees this, his heart broken, going through such an intense breakup, he he's crying and he goes to Vaikuntha, and he tells the Supreme Lord, "You're such a stone-hearted person. You don't want your devotees to get settled in life. Why did you do this? You know how much I loved that girl, and you the only girl I loved. You married her, and I'm burning in separation from that girl, and I really wanted that girl to marry me, and I curse you, the way I am suffering in separation from that girl, you will suffer, and you will bear the separation from your wife, from the girl of your from the woman in your life." And he curses him in such a way, and then he sees Lord Vishnu smiling and laughing, laying on the coil of Ananta, and he asks Narad Muni to go back to that place where the kingdom was. When he goes back to that place, it's barren land. Nothing is there. No king, no queen, no palace, no girl, nothing. It's just barren land. And then Narad Muni, confused, he goes back to Vaikuntha. He asks, he tells Vishnu, "I don't see anything. I don't see anything. What's the matter?" So Lord said, "This is my Maya. This is the power of my Maya, which you think you were able to win over. There was no kingdom. The girl was no one but my Maya. All of this was an illusion. You were too proud of of your austerity and the power of and that pride that you actually you were able to win over lust. You were not able to win over lust. Look how you are going through such a bad breakup right now." So he tells Narad Muni that it was nothing but my illusionary illusory energy, and it is that's you. It's all false. So, and then Narad Muni repents that, "Oh my Lord, I cursed you. I'm so sorry." And then Lord said that, "I'm beyond these curses and boons. It is my divine play. It is my leela that you could actually curse me. I wanted to enact the pastime of Lord Ram, where I'm actually teaching people, teaching the humanity how an ideal husband is supposed to be. And I wanted these pastimes, and you're just facilitating in that." So this story also comes in Ramayana, that why Sita and Ram had that externally had to go through that separation. So we see that these Mayavadis, they have this ideology that everything is false. But when Lord glances over the material manifestation, as he glances, that glance is called Shiva, because the Lord is in the mode of, he's pure goodness, and darkness and brightness can't be in one place at one point in time. So he manifests as Shiva, his Guna avatar, and he combined he unites with Maya, and that's how the material manifestation takes place. And then the whole story of how Brahma from Brahma's body, different sages and everyone is born, and then Dharma appears, and all these sages manifest. And then the Lord, he's Vishnu, so he can enter his own creation. He enters his own creation. He sees whenever there are miscreants, Dharma Sansthapanathay Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So whenever there are miscreants, he incarnates, and he vanquishes the miscreants, and sadhus, he protects the sadhus, and that's how the Lord is the God, the generator, operator, and destroyer. He's perfect at generating, he's perfect at operating, and he's perfect at destroying as well. So I think it's almost time. We should end the class over here. Any suggestions, comments, or feedback, or questions? Yes, I um so they're twins, but it's something similar to one. How we say that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this payar comes that actually Radha and Krishna are one soul, but two bodies. So the Lord is the Supreme Lord, but He manifests as twins to facilitate the pastime and to the boon which Sahasra Kavach gets. So he's actually one, but incarnates as two. Like how Ram and Lakshman or Krishna and Balaram incarnate, they're actually one is Supreme Personality of God in the mood of rendering service, and one is in Sevya Abhiman and one is in Sevak Abhiman. So and the other supreme is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the mood of accepting the service. So both of them are God. Krishna and Balaram, both of them are Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the mood is different. Similarly, Nar Narayan are also both of them are supreme, and they are twin. The Lord manifests as twins to facilitate the pastime. I I heard something else, but okay, then maybe then Nara is actually the Jivatma. I'll have to go and do some thorough reading and get back to you on this. Yes, I guess. Do they? Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments, or feedback? Then we should end here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय